Sheboygan County Ordinance 2, zoning ordinance 2. Okay, welcome everybody. We'll start the meeting. Don't have a lot of folks here, but that's okay. We have some news on phase 2. I'm going to turn everything over to Steve. Go ahead.
Good evening. Just an update on phase 1 first. Things are going well. The dry weather has really helped. Elmer's was going to shut down a few weeks ago for the winter because they weren't supposed to leave anything unpaved, according to the road commission protocols. But the road commission saw how dry it was, and we've been working hand in hand, helping them with their storm sewer alignments and that. And they suggested we go ahead and ask permission to put the rest of the pipe in this fall and pave in the spring, and they'd say yes if we did. So that's what we did, and they said yes. So hopefully by the end of next week, or maybe a little bit in the following week, Elmer's should be done with getting all the pipe in the ground. Right now they're finishing up there at the corner of Constance and the Pike tonight. They should be able to finish the rest of the pipe this week. Hop down to get a little section of WIT down by Laswell there next week. And then we have a lift station at the corner of Constance and Arthur, and then a little bit going up to Arthur to go in. And then they're going to be drilling, then they'll bring in their subcontractor to drill a force main under Constance and under Arthur and Floyd to tie into the existing system.
I saw the machine.
That was Matt's on the other side of the river doing that. And then the Matt's came down. Matt's has the contract, and their contractor are the Martin Island folks.
Mm-hmm.
That's all pressure sewer out there. So they drilled the 2-inch main over to Martin Island.
Okay.
And it pops up right there at the corner of Constance and Arthur, and that's where the lift station's going.
Okay.
But Elmer's has to get their force mains to that lift station as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then drill all the way up to the existing manhole up by Floyd and Juno.
Okay.
And then they'll be working on the 3 lift stations then after that, and until the winter shuts
How
them
big are
out.
those lift stations?
They're 5 foot in diameter, and they go down about 16 feet, depending on what the location is. We will have to do some dewatering for those, but up till now, we haven't had to pay for dewatering them. So that's saved a lot of money on the dewatering, but we're spending more money than we thought on the really crappy subgrade underneath these roads. So,
And the years of pipes that have been laid, nobody knows.
So, yeah, we're definitely down in the area where there's a lot of storm drains that we knew they were there somewhere, but nobody had any idea where. So we're working with the road commission, and they're finding them all, and we're helping them patch them up and make a good product for everybody when they're done with that. On the phase 1, Matt's underground contract, they've got about another week or 2 of gravity sewer over there. They've got the gravity sewer all in on Hillside and on Cleveland. They're working on the first lift station at the river end of Pier, and we put that gravity in, and they just have a little bit of gravity line to go in on Harrison over there. And then next, or Thursday, their drilling team will be starting at the west end of Hillside to start working on the force main section of that. And then they're going to be drilling in service lines for people as they go along as well. Elmer's is not interested in doing hookups for people. Matt's is. So they've been going along giving people estimates for doing the hookup part. And they're going to be working, they'll be drilling the lines in for people, at least in the Columbus Beach Club for right now. So we have all the easements in. As of today, we've got the final easement from over there.
How about new driveways?
What do you mean new driveways?
In other words, somebody's got a really, really old driveway and they want to redone blacktop in the spring. Can they hire them to do their driveway?
They can.
I got that question today.
Right. Well, that question came up when Elmer's had Reeve Riley doing their paving here last month, and we gave them the contact person at Reeve Riley to talk to see if while they were here, if they want.
And who's going to do phase 2?
Walton Contracting is doing phase 2. Let me, if we can just finish up with phase 1 real quick. And so Matt's is going to be working on doing those services and that. And they're going to work as long as they can until the winter freezes them out. Last year, working on a contract with Matt's. We went almost into mid-February before they get, it just got too cold. Don't know what it's gonna be like this year. The year before, we worked until like the last week of January, first week of February. Used to be, you really couldn't work much once you got into mid-December, but things are different with the way the weather patterns have been. Phase 2, we had a scheduling meeting with the Phase 2 contractor, Walton Contracting out of Traverse City. They have both the gravity and the low-pressure sewer contracts for Phase 2. Their plan right now is to start the gravity contract, which is from Mac down to basically the park, and then part way down Barbara until just before, you get to the marina down there where that turns into the pressure contract for that area, and then up into Sturgeon Island. The gravity contract, they're going to start in May. They haven't decided if they're going to start at the Mac, like north and work south, or start south and work north. He wants to get with his foreman and put his game plan together. But they're going to start that in May, it looks like. And then their pressure contract, they're looking to start that probably in August. And the plan is to be done with both of those by the end of 2025. Right. Their plan right now, their tentative plan is to start sometime in August, not set in stone. We're going to have a pre-construction meeting with them sometime in February. So I'll be getting with Trudy, you, and everybody else that needs to. That's usually when we pull the utility companies in. We get everybody in the same room to talk about what the plan is going to be. So we're going to schedule that probably sometime in February for that May kickoff. They are.
Will you do the same thing for the August?
No, it'll be one. It'll be
Only
one.
one meeting.
One meeting in February, yes, sir. And then Walton is interested in doing hookups for people. So their plan, they already gave me a name and a number for people to contact, but I don't want to give it out right now because they're going to start calling, and she's not going to know what's going on just yet.
Okay, ask you that.
But
yeah, I know.
so we're getting there, but they are interested in doing that as well. I've been working through the township ordinances and the permit system for the county, and we're going to also be kind of the health department, and we're going to be pulling together what I'm hoping to be is some kind of something like you mentioned a meeting or two ago, kind of a application package for people if the township wants us to do that, just to have something so that people aren't having to go individually and figure it all out themselves. So that's something I'm working on right now. And I might even go as far as kind of pre-filling out a lot of the applications so that the stuff that's not going to change between different properties, so that that they're already kind of pre-filled out.
There's application for like land use permits and building permits.
Well, it looks like right now we're investigating. The township has the sewer application permit. The county has a plumbing permit they normally would require, and we got to check with the health department and see what they're going to require.
For those in private companies,
Right.
yeah.
So
those are usually good for 12 months. We just building permit or land use.
yeah, I know the plumbing permit I know is 12 months.
And
I
then
think
you should work county stuff.
right, and your sewer permit is 12 months as well.
So I'm sure if the excavator, if the landowner hires an excavator, would the excavator get permits, or is the landowner going to use?
That's what we're kind of working towards, trying to make it so it's easier for everybody involved, whether it's the person putting it in themselves or the contractor doing it. Because there's going to be so many of them in a relatively short time period.
Yeah.
So there's no sense making everybody jump through a bunch of hoops we don't have to.
I would never work with a contractor that doesn't pull permit.
Right,
That's just a disaster.
right. But if we can help herd the cats for the health department and the county and the township, I think that'll help make a much smoother process. As far as when that window opens up, right now, the schedule is that the plant should be online by sometime in June. Things are going fairly well. I guess I didn't mention how it's going there. the slab for all the tanks have been poured. And they've got the rebar and the panels up for the west wall of the whole tank area there. And they're hoping to get that poured next week. And then it'll probably be every 2 or 3 weeks after that, pouring another section of the walls and that. The Aeromod equipment is tentatively scheduled to arrive on site March 10th. Any of the stuff that arrives early, the contractor and the subcontractor make arrangements that it can be stored inside of their warehouses down in the Traverse City area. So none of the equipment sits outside when it doesn't have to.
And we got plenty of sand, right?
Yeah, well, we stopped taking sand from the excavation pile several weeks ago because we needed to leave enough in the backfill the tank area after they get the rest of the concrete poured. But they've been pulling sand out of the township pit
Yeah,
just to
back
the
and
south.
back,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, there's plenty of sand.
Oh, there's a ton of sand in there. They build on 75 of that.
So,
As long as you don't.
no, we can't touch the I-75 sand, we know that, so.
No, what I'm saying is, back towards the back there, you just wanna make sure, the DNR has easements back there, trail easements.
Right, we're staying away from the trails.
Oh, so are they properly marked for you?
It's kind
The
of.
ones in the front are.
Right, well, we're only working out of the front, there's plenty of sand up front right now.
Oh, okay, great, okay.
So, that's a lot of stuff to throw out at y'all at once.
Like we thought about something I mentioned last time about, we got 12 months. Once we get the green light, we got 12 months, but actually we lose that. We lose some time in winter time with the winter. It's
Right.
rough, but-
That's where I was leaving off just now.
Okay.
So at some point, then the township will declare, it's substantially complete, you can start hooking up. I think there's still a question as to whether or not you're gonna do that for phase 1 and then the second one for phase 2, or you're gonna wait until phase 2 is ready to say,
That's up to the board.
yeah, so that's a decision that's gonna be pending this coming year.
The ordinance specifies 12 months, but, I mean, is there a way you can add 6 months onto that, so it's 18, if you lose that time?
Yeah,
Not unless you change the ordinance. Yeah, change the ordinance.
some of the language I saw the other day, if I remember correctly,
Well,
the board
You
can,
do deviation or variance on the ordinance.
but the board has to approve.
The board has to
Yeah,
approve it, yes.
so. But, like I said, the big decision I think will be whether or not you start the clock
Right,
for just the phase 1 folks first,
right.
and then start the clock separately for the phase 2 folks, or you start it all for everybody later.
Well, I can tell you that our present operator will really want to do one at a time
Yeah. And it's,
because of the plant.
Yeah.
And the pumps and all the problems, so, and you would learn a lot, according to Tammy. You would learn a lot, by doing phase 1, you wouldn't, you'd have a guide to do phase 2 a lot easier. And, that's a lot of work for this small staff in here to do all that too, because of the billing, when you start with the O&M.
It's all gonna take time to do all the permits, control, and the administrative part of it.
I've heard, I don't care what they do, but personally, I just think it would be overwhelming to do both at once.
and I can see one comment and a question. I can see, I'm not a lawyer, but I can see where, you give them 12 months, but is pulling your permit, does that then set your clock, I've made the 12 months because I pulled my permit within 12 months, or do you have to be physically connected within 12 months?
Yeah, there's not clarification and ordinance on that. That's right.
So, I'm not on the board, I don't even live here, but I can see, there's gonna be some questions for you guys to work out. And I've been telling people that, if it were me, I don't think I'd be really hard on, oh no, it's 12 months. There's gonna be somebody there with a calendar on, 12 months in one day, writing a ticket, for
Right.
$1,000.
The problem is if you make one exception for one, you gotta make it for all, and then you got people, as we had some experiences down on South Straight Highway from the first one, where they never hook up, and then you gotta run them to court. So it's a double-edged sword, but not up to me.
Our job is that I'm working with the contractors to try and make sure that we're leaving these connection points, whether they're gravity or low pressure curb stops and that, we're leaving them in the spot that's the best economically for the each property owner and the best operationally, and hopefully those two are mutual, yeah. And usually they are, not always, but usually they are.
Well, the contractors, they would have had a completion dates in the grid tank.
Yeah, phase one,
So each phase probably has a completion date for Almer and for.
the phase one contractors have to be done by the end of August, basically, next year. The phase two contractor doesn't have to be done until the end of August 2026. But his plan right now is to be done in 2025.
But before the township can put the appropriate notifications in the newspaper, on the website, the entire system, like we're only gonna do phase one, it all has to be tested, so when somebody hooks up, it's gotta work. It's not, well, we think it's okay, they really gotta test it, and that could take a month, right?
It depends how well it goes.
So let me ask you this, the people that are in the low pressure system or the gravity pump system, do you have to have that gravity pump hooked up? For to do that system check for people to hook up? Right,
I think it'll just be, make sure the main is ready to go.
just the name?
And that's why you have the curb stops, so you aren't blowing down
Yeah.
somebody's line,
Right, right.
so.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
All right. She's been patient in the
No,
back.
I was just like saying, is there anything, once the plant is a go, is there anything that precludes then phase one from starting to hook up? Because it sounds like we're gonna be
All
done,
the pumps,
huh,
the pumps,
the pumps.
Well,
Oh,
the
okay,
pumps are key.
well, no, well, making sure the plant is ready to go, and then the phase one, all the lift stations are ready to send stuff that way.
okay. So that would be done, the engineers will.
Right, and then
will
next
have-
thing,
Okay,
I'm still working a sewer job down in Mansalona right now. It's been ready to go for a while, except getting the lift station operational. We had issues with getting the electric run to it by consumers. And then, well, so we got that in, but then the panel that was delivered by supplier was wrong. They gave them a panel that was set up for a different job. So they sent another one. The second one had issues as well, so they had to get, the second one didn't have to get sent back, but it had to get reworked, because the supplier, and the supplier had subcontracted, which is what the issue was, and the subcontractor didn't do a very good job with it. So that one will hopefully be operational in the next month or so, but it should have been operational 8 or 9 months ago. I don't foresee that being an issue on these, but you never know. So that's why I can't say, yeah, next summer, they're gonna say, go. They're not gonna say go until the system can work, so.
Just one more time, the wastewater treatment plant, the goal is for it to be operational with the expansion in June.
Yes,
Is that the goal?
yeah. By contract, it was May, we just bumped it to June with a change order they approved last week. And that was due,
But the whole system isn't, phase one system is not required to be done until August 31, right? That's the contractors.
the plant has to be ready by next June.
Right,
By the
but
end
the
of next
whole
June.
system,
And then the phase one, gravity and the phase one low pressure system to get to the plant, both should be done by contract by the end of August.
that's all.
Right, the, what did it say? Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
Okay, so, in regards to, phase three, I mean, it's no secret that the board has already taken in petitions twice and approved it twice, but we're waiting on the final application for that $1 million. I hope to have a draft in my hand tomorrow. It could be filed as easy as soon as Thursday. If not, The new group will have to file it, because I'll be on. We're making it real simple, and the key to that is to make sure that instead of having to pay 2080, that we can be reimbursed 100% because we disadvantaged people. We want to get that approved, so we get 100% of that paid for, and which will make it so much easier for accounting purposes. I mean, it's just really difficult to do these things for the staff. Yes, ma'am.
So,
I know there was in the, construction meeting minutes about the grinder pumps and the, primarily the ejector pumps. Was a decision made as to, is the homeowner gonna pay for the ejector pump, or is the system gonna pay for it? And what about ongoing maintenance?
I'm gonna have to defer to Aaron on this one because he still has not given the township his recommendation on how to handle that yet. And so,
Actually, it's already in the EGLE. Aaron and I talked about that. That's all in the EGLE.
okay,
That's the purpose of the EGLE. All of those injector pumps should be paid for by the township using the EGLE. Phase 2, I don't know about. That's another issue. But with phase 1, that's the purpose of the EGLE grant, especially in those very difficult places down in Columbus Beach.
okay.
And the original requirement, the board decided a long time ago, a previous board, was that all pumps would be serviced by the township, correct?
That's correct.
So that should not be an issue going forward.
Right.
The installation of the pumps, the maintenance of the pumps, even though they're only $800.
They do go out.
Yeah, can they be alarmed?
Yes,
I don't know if we want to, wouldn't that double the cost?
that's an Aaron question. I'm not the design engineer on this.
Okay.
It was the same goes for the grinder pumps.
Sorry?
You're talking about the ejector pumps, right?
Not the grinders, the injectors.
They're alone.
The grinders will always be maintained by the. Problem is, you've got
That's one of my
some,
questions we'll talk about tomorrow, but,
Okay.
you know, it's on my list of questions about how you maintain it. Pump goes out, what's the length of time to get it back up online with your house is gonna be, you know, out of service.
So, so I understand, the ejector pumps will be paid for by the township and serviced by the
in phase 1.
township. Is there,
It should be.
I don't really, well, I understand one is previously, but other than that, I don't understand where they differ. For example, in Columbus Beach, because right now there is no house that's open there. And sometimes we only have maybe 3, 4, 5 in the winter. Is that going to affect having to shut those pumps down? And is there going to be a special kind of process that has to be done in order to do it?
That I don't have an answer for. As far as the difference, an ejector pump doesn't have to grind everything up into soup to fit through an 1.5 inch pressure line. It's just pumping the stuff up into the 4-inch lateral.
If you shut your house down in winter, what happens to the stuff that's in the line when you go to start up again? April,
Well,
That was one of my questions, we'll talk about tomorrow.
that-
the grinder pumps.
I guess that would be an Aaron question. I'm not an expert on that stuff.
how do we get there to answer the question?
Well, we're gonna ask him tomorrow, it sounds like.
Well, I don't know if you, that's, well, for grinder pumps,
Yeah,
well, that was one of my questions. for the
Would
grinder.
you ask for me?
Yeah.
No,
It's because a lot of residents here run it here all year round, so
Right.
we shut down, you know.
I've got it written down to ask Sally.
Now, the new board is going to have to Do you think we're gonna have an injector pumps for phase two?
In looking at the geography down there, if we do, it won't be very many, I don't think. It's pretty flat.
We got Pine Boulevard straightened away.
Everybody's on board, nobody's actually given me their easement back yet.
I say you reached all three.
I talked to all three last week and everybody's on board.
Great. Okay,
It only took me a day, I was amazed.
okay.
Well, it boils down to, I think there was some miscommunication early on. People heard somebody say something and
Yeah.
took it as gospel and just didn't.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. But once I was able to explain to them how it would work and how it would save them money, the light bulbs went off, so.
So I know it's short and sweet. Any other questions? We'll adjourn. You're welcome to talk to Steve for a while if you like.
The meeting in February, are you gonna publish that on the township website I think, on the residents be part of that?
No, that's a pre-construction.
It's an internal
Or is that-
pre-construction meeting.
Okay.
It's
Just contract.
it's the contractors and the staff and stuff like that, but any information that comes out of it, I'll be more than happy to share.
And he documents all minutes. So,
Yeah, I noticed that today, I was reading through the meeting minutes from the last 3 weeks. Did you guys meet out here, you document it?
Annoyingly so, some people say, so.
well, I sent it to all the trustees. You can put it online if you want.
Yeah. It helps, I had a job, actually just this summer, as a job that finished up last year. But an issue came up, that, oh, that's not what we agreed to, that's not this and that. So I printed out, I think, 26 sets of minutes from weekly minutes. And said, yep, we said, this is what you said on this date, and this date, and this date. And the guy's like, oh. All right. So, yes, ma'am.
Well, you are doing a great job. You're everywhere and always so helpful information coming forth. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm trying. My wife gets back from Alaska in December though, so maybe things will change, we'll see. She's been up there since the third week of February, so it's just me and the cats, so. So that's why, I can stick around some nights when. I know they're getting hungry right now, so I need to get going to get them fed. Any other questions?
I'm curious about the ejector pumps. The winterizing, I've heard that question from other people as well. And I think Sally's question as well made, the house closed up for winter time or, and then what happens to any freezable materials that may be not only in the line but also in the pump? Or is that something that when the person who winterizes your home can blow that line out as well?
Yeah.
To that connection.
We'll get answers to that.
Because, for example, us, we don't actually close our home down, we leave it open, so we can come up with a word time for that. We've had.
Yes.
It's very
That is
unpleasant.
not fun.
Right.
We basically turn around and it's like a house.
Yes, ma'am.